following program on Derana 24 is classified MA. It is intended for adults and may be unsuitable for children under 17. It may contain crude, indecent language, explicit sexual activity, graphic violence, or political ideology. Viewer discretion is strictly advised. We would like to remind our viewers that the views expressed in this program by our participating guests are solely viewpoints of them who take part and does not reflect the views and beliefs of the Derana Media Network.
Welcome down to Gen XYZ right here on Derana 24, where we're bringing to you a different flavor. This flavor is definitely to do with the surge that's happening presently in the youth of Sri Lanka. It is HIV. It's quite concerning, and that is exactly why we've actually brought two individuals who are representatives of the youth. They're the voice of the youth. They're the youth in action. Well, two individuals named Sethmi and Vinod. Along with that, we've definitely brought you a professional as well in the industry. He's worked in the STDs and the AIDS industry for a very long time in Sri Lanka. He's also a health consultant, and not just that, he's also a doctor. It's Dr. Janaka. Well, we'll have a little conversation as to why this is taking place presently in Sri Lanka amongst the youth as well as to the surge of HIV. Well, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much to both of you as well for joining us today on Gen XYZ. Doctor, I'm going to throw the question first at you. Now, I know HIV has been there for a very long time in the world, but it has changed over the course as well as to how we refer to HIV. So can you tell us exactly what HIV is on the technical aspect of things?
Yeah, HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. That stands for HIV. It's a virus. It is transmitted only from human to human, man to man. What happens once it gets to the body, it destroys our immune system or body protective mechanism, and gradually our immune system gets weakened, and we are more prone to more infection, more cancers and other skin conditions, and gradually the person who got the infection, the health condition get deteriorate, and finally it can end up as a death.
Right. And do we see, what are the statistics right now present in Sri Lanka, especially amongst the youth containing or getting HIV?
Yeah, if you see the epidemiological pattern of the disease, annually number of newly detected cases are going up. Oh. Last year also almost 700, very close to 700. And before that year, in 2022, it was close to around 600, like that. But main thing is, out of that, as you asked from me, the number of people, about percentage of people who got the infection less than 29 years, almost 33% of the out of total detected cases. For example, last year, almost 700, more than 200 were below less than 29 years of age. Wow. And before that year also the same thing. If you consider about last 3 years, we have detected around 1,700 new cases. Out of that, more than 600 by youth, young people below 29 years old. That is the pathetic situation.
Wow. That's just horrifying numbers to even think about, Doctor, honestly. But obviously, we have to talk about these subjects. We really have to bring to light on these subjects. But, HIV actually now has different ways of contracting as well. What are the primary ways of contracting HIV presently, especially amongst the youth of Sri Lanka?
Yeah, HIV, as I told earlier, it's transmitted only from human to human. There are three main methods of transmission. First one is unprotected sexual contacts. That means the casual partner without using a condom. If you have sex, oral sex, vaginal sex, or anal sex, whatever, it is an unprotected sexual contact. That is the main thing. And it can transmit from infected mother to child while having the baby in the tummy, or while at the time of delivery, or while breastfeeding. It can transmit. The third one is injecting drug users, the people who inject drugs, heroin like. Then if they are sharing the same needle and blood products can, at the same time, that virus can transmit from one person to one person if they are sharing the needle. Those are the main 3 methods. Out of that, more than 95% of infections are happening in the country due to unprotected sexual contacts.
Wow. I was very interested with what you mentioned there. So a mother can actually transmit the disease to the baby as well. But you said the immunity is actually, badly hampered during HIV, So, but how can she actually even give birth if her immunity is not strong? How does that work, really?
Yeah, you asked me a very good question. If, for example, I got the disease today following an unprotected sexual contact, my immunity gradually goes down. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes about 7-8 years. Till that you are almost symptomless, no symptom at all. But you can transmit disease by that time. But you get the symptom around maybe about 7-8 years after. Till that, it's by appearance you are healthy. But the thing is gradually your immunity goes down. During that time you can have a baby. But the thing is, baby also get the infection. Unless we detect it, then start treatment.
That's very interesting, actually. We'll talk a little bit more in terms of how you can actually contract it as well. But with that, I'd like to throw the question to our youth members who are actually joining us today as well on Gen XYZ. Well, Sethmi, I want to ask you primarily because you as a youth member as well, right? You've educated yourself in Sri Lanka, you've grown in Sri Lanka, you're presently working in Sri Lanka as well. Do you think the Sri Lankan system has actually failed you as a youth member in sort of teaching you and training you and telling you these are the methods that you can actually do when you're sexually active and primarily actually to prevent HIV?
Yeah, I got your question and a good question. As a Sri Lankan, as a girl who studied in a government school from grade 1 to 13, yes, I'm telling the system was really failed. As I'm sharing my experience, I was also in a girls' school from grade 1 to 13. I didn't contact with the boys in the schools from my school time. So, and that time, in like grade 11, we had a lesson in school. There are only 12 girls because we are in the English medium class and our teacher is science teacher is also a lady, but she's telling like, girls, study your lesson. If there is any questions, please ask. I'm not going to teach.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
She's telling like that. If there are only 12 girls, the teacher is also a lady, but she's not going to teach. What's the matter? They are telling like, no, this is not matter to teach. Yeah. Just read and if there is something, please ask. Then the girls like, all the students like, the teacher didn't going to teach us, then we will Google it. We will read it through any magazines. We will read it through 18 plus books or something. We are taking the knowledge by unprofessional ways. I think that unprofessional way matters to this problem. The doctor told that I think the school system, the teaching system of from grade 1 to 13, I'm a government school student, proudly saying, but the problem was, the system was so failed because the teachers, all the staffs in the society, the elders also think that this is not a matter to teach to youths. It's not matter. But the problem happens, they think like, oh my God, this is big problem, we have to solve. But they do not destroy the grassroots level, the beginning. I think the school system, the education system was failed here.
Yeah, I love that answer, Sethmi. Now you mentioned that you studied in a primarily girl-based school, but do you think the contamination or you contracting HIV or any other STDs, to be quite honest, is prone? Can you actually get it? Do you think the government has actually decided on separating a girls' school to a boys' school to prevent the contraction? Do you think that's a method?
No. There is another matter. As a girls' school student, they are telling like, if there are two best friends are near, don't go like that. It's not a suitable way. If I am sitting like to my friend near, no, go away. Be apart from them. It's not suitable for the girls because of the lesbian and the other problems.
Right. Yes. Yes.
It's a big matter for the HIV and the AIDS and the sexual transmitted diseases and the things. I think, yeah,
That's very.
it's not a good thing to separate girls' schools and boys' schools.
It has to be a mixed school to sort of like understand. I love that. Different dynamics as well. Very, very interesting. Vinod,
Yeah.
do you agree with the fact that the system in Sri Lanka has actually failed the students and the youth of Sri Lanka?
Yes, actually it's failed. My opinion is, that, as my friend said, I actually went to my mixed school. So in that school, the teachers also same like that, because of they wouldn't teach us that lessons. I think we should learn that. The teachers should teach the student that. When someone's come and do a seminar, the students wouldn't like to join with that because of they don't know about the things and stuffs, because of they have not knowledge about that. In that situation, most of students face like that HIV and some kind of related things. So if they have how to protect from that, I think we can reduce the HIV. We have to start it from the schools. So yeah, within my school is mixed school, as I said. In that school, within my experience, actually we are in with girls and boys. It's normally, yeah. But normally, as Sethmi said, if I sitting with boys and do something like of thing, they think we are gay. So that's obviously not.
Right.
Yeah. But the society is labelized them as a
To be,
gay.
yes.
And I think doctor, mostly HIV is spreading, we are the gay, but as I know.
Through homosexuality
Yeah.
primarily, right.
So that kind of situation, if we can teach them and get the knowledge, power the knowledge about how to protect from the HIV, we can reduce it in schools.
Right. Now that's very interesting that you mentioned that, Vinod, because now she was obviously saying, there has to be a mixed school, but that's a case of a mixed school. So the difference is the fact that even though they're mixed, they're still segregated to be, okay, if it's a boy and a boy, that means they're the ones who are actually, going to be the cause of having HIV contractions. What is the difference there? Like, what do you have to say about that, Sethmi? Do you think it is, then there shouldn't be mixed schools? Do you think it should be separated?
No, I think it be mixed because we all are human. When considering about sexuality, there is another thing. When we are talking about our youth action network, it's a network of youths. There are males, females, but no any disparitions or something.
There's no discrimination.
Yeah,
right.
there are any discriminations. We are all feel like same. The problem was in girls' schools and boys' schools, when separating them, they live in another world. Girls' school, they have another world. Boys' school, they have another world. But they don't really see the world. They are living with their own mindsets and the things they didn't know about. In the school system, they also failed about to get their knowledge, to give their knowledge about the sexuality and the things and all the stuff. And also then girls and boys are separated. It may be a big problem. I think if we are in a mixed community, they can exchange their minds, thoughts.
But doesn't that increase the risk of contracting HIV, Sethmi?
No, I think it's not. If we are separating, girls are there, boys are there, then they are trying some things.
Curiosity, nice. I like what you mentioned there, because I think curiosity is something that really gets humans flowing through life as well, and we want to try things, but we try it in the wrong way, and that's what ends into a disaster.
Like I and Vinod, last day we searched and discussed about some things, but in the girls and boys schools are separated. They didn't discuss about the things. The girls are in their world and boys are in their world. They didn't contact with in the society, so they were separated and they were in their own mindsets. Then I think the HIV and all the sexual transmitted diseases is a fact.
Is a fact.
Yeah.
Wow. And Vinod, you said you guys have seminars with regards to showcasing, primarily aspects of how sexuality works and how you can prevent, methods of, it's not just, it's even preventing, unnecessary pregnancy as well, or, uninformed pregnancy. Most importantly, to stop the contraction of HIV or any other STDs as well. Did you go for this seminar?
Yeah, I went once.
Okay.
I think that's the first and last one in my school.
Oh, that was the first and the last one.
Yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't go through that. I think they need to do that. Most of schools are not allowed to do that kind of lectures. In my schools, only two or three lectures going like that. Normally, A-level students mostly interesting like that subjects.
Yes.
So, they are focusing only A-level students. I think the all students also should know about that because of these societies. In the grade 8 students also going dating someone. So we have to protect them.
Yeah.
So they should know about how to protect that viruses.
Prevent contracting the viruses as well. I love that, Vinod. Very, very astounded by the youth actually of Sri Lanka, who's actually knowing exactly what they need and what the country needs as well to prevent this surge of HIV. So thank you so much. Coming back to you, Dr. Janaka, I want to ask you, now you listen to both of the youth, right? What do you personally feel, because you work quite, actively with the youth as well. What do you feel that the system in Sri Lanka needs to implement, or the youth needs to implement, in terms of understanding, studying what sexuality is? How can you get these diseases? How do you prevent getting these diseases? What do you personally think?
Yeah, I listen to both of them. Thing is, irrespective of whether it's a girls' school or boys' school or mixed school, I haven't studied why it is separated, but it is irrespective of that. The comprehensive sexual education has to be there. That means from childhood that has to be started. There is a responsibility for the family also, parents also, about teaching. Our system, our parents also, they are also grown in some sort of culturally restricted environment. They are also little bit scared to, little bit shy to talk these things with their kids. That is something we have to think about then, and parents are also having some sort of responsibility to talk about these things, sexuality, age appropriately. From the age 5 years old, they can talk these things. What is the bad touch, what is good touch, what are the private areas, that is how they have to start. And then the second step is school. From grade 5, 6, 7, from this age, this sexual education has to be started. And by the time of grade 9, 10, they must have a comprehensive education. It include about the sexual transmitted diseases as well as the prevention, condom usage, all these important, all these things, and contraceptive methods. We have to teach them. We have to discuss with them. Very friendly environment. We see school-going children getting pregnant because of the unaware about the situation. Therefore, sexuality is a highly personal thing, but it's a vast area we have to discuss first at the family and then the school. Then we should not stop at the school. There are a lot of people leave school sometime before they are completing O levels and just after O levels and in between as well as after A level. Then after A level, where they end up? They end up in university or more vocational training centers, or maybe finding a job. And sometimes they do nothing, no jobs, no education. And in that case, the youth clubs, National Youth Service Council, that means government organization, National Youth Corp, that like government organizations as well as non-government organizations who are working for you. Then they have to take the baton to about teaching these things, about talking about sexuality. And the wide area, all the aspect has to be covered at that level also, because we see a lot of university students, they are away from their houses, Once they enter the university, that means away from their cultural bonds. They are migrants, for example. If they are away from their cultural bonds, they are free to do anything. Right. Then these things has to be started in their orientation course before they are starting their formal education, university or higher education center or vocational training center. These things has to be taught, discussed freely with them to get the sense about sexuality and what are the risks and what are the risks of this unprotected sexual contact. They can enjoy, youth can enjoy sex, that's a different thing. Enjoy sex means not having a penetrative sex, even having a love affair also, that part of that. But how to protect them, how without disturbing their life goals, how to enjoy their youth, about their that interesting period of their life. We don't get that again, but we have to enjoy, keeping our mindset to reach our goals.
I love what you said there, Dr. Janaka, to be honest, because I feel like you need to enjoy it, at the same time make sure that you actually do it the right way. I love that. We'll talk a little bit more in terms of parental support. I like that one as well that you mentioned. Right here on Gen XYZ is exactly what you're joining in us on. Of course, don't forget, we've got 2 youth members representing and voicing, being the voice of youth, the voice of the youth. And most importantly, we've got Dr. Janaka as well, who's a professional in the industry. We'll come back on a short commercial break. Welcome back to Gen XYZ, where we're in conversation with 3 individuals, 2 from the youth, being the voice of the youth, and 1 a professional. This is Dr. Janaka and Sethmi along with Vinod as well, right here on Gen XYZ. We're talking about something very important actually. It's with regards to HIV, the surge of HIV amongst the youth of Sri Lanka. We spoke quite a lot on the other end as well, but now something that Dr. Janaka mentioned is in terms of parental support. Why is parental support important in terms of preventing the surge of HIV? Well, we'll ask that from Dr. Janaka itself, because you mentioned that very interestingly. You, I presume, obviously have kids as well, right? How do you train and how do you teach your children to sort of make sure that they know how you can enjoy sexuality as well, enjoy their sexuality, but at the same time be protective of, contracting these unsafe diseases?
Yeah, it's a process. Quickly we can't start, but the understanding between parent and the child is very important. That has to be built up from the child is grown up, from grade 5 or 4, very
grade
young
5
age.
and 4?
Yeah,
right.
Very young age. It's a very friendly relationship with the parent and the child. Then only parents talk about bad touch, good touch, who met while on the way from school to here, all these things gradually. Then as long as they talk to child is more free to talk, and because child think that son or daughter think that I can talk anything with my parents. Then they keep on talking. By the time of grade 9, 10, they might have a crush. Then usually they don't come and tell that I'm having a crush, but we can ask, have you a crush? Do you have a crush? Yeah. How do you think? I ask. Personally, I ask, because then she talk about that. He's like that. My son also, she's like that. But there's he's only that is his or her mind. It doesn't go into the love affair. When by that time, I'm telling, if you're in a love affair, these things it will distract your mind away from your educational activities. And these love affairs get broken. Then what happened? All these things gradually I can talk, because I have started the topic, then they come up with their own ideas. That is in all levels and up to A level, we can keep on like that, keep them on track without going into, without distracting their goals. Education, that is their main activity, their goal or sports activity. Then As long as we are keeping with them, we are talking with them, they get educated. By the time of grade 9, they watch my video clips. Right? They had that opportunity, but all the children doesn't have that opportunity. But we can create opportunities by allowing reading age appropriately or little bit about sexuality. We can allow them to read. We can bring some books, and we can talk. We can discuss about the science books and whatever the lessons. Right? If they are free to talk, then only they get more open in front of their parents. Then they are very free to talk about their crush also. Right? That is how it's a gradual process. Main thing is, as basically Christian is understanding between the parent and the child. Only thing is, our parents are also grown about 30 years, 40 years back with that culturally restricted environment. They are not ready to talk about these things. Not only parents, our health staff also, our teachers also, the same thing happened. We can't blame these teachers because they were grown in a very culturally restricted society. Then it's a matter of education ministry or matter of society to empower them to talk these sensitive subjects freely in front of their children. Children are some sort of bullying Christians, that is their nature. They should be able to competent enough to talk in front of the children against by standing these bullying Christians without making angry. Then it's become very friendly, and these girls can talk anything about with their teacher. I am having this type of, I am having feeling, I have the boyfriend, or sometimes they may have a sex affair also. And what should I do? Then teacher can give some advices for that. Who should start? The parent or teacher should start the topic. Then only the friendly bond begins. Come up. Right? It's very sensitive thing, but we have to master that. Otherwise, how can we teach children these things? Then, as she said, they might get an informal way. The education get an informal way through their peers or sometimes unwanted websites. We don't know those things are correct or wrong. That is the thing.
Wonderful, Doctor. Honestly, quite, I think you've made a very strong statement there as well, especially for the youth or the parents watching right now as well, why they need to create a bond with their children, most importantly, especially to prevent and avoid this disease that's deadly in their lives, you know. Vinod, do you have strict parents?
No, actually my parents are very friendly with me.
Very friendly. So you have a similar bond that Dr. Janaka mentioned as well, right? Do you have strict parents?
Yes and no.
Yes and no, maybe in the middle. Okay. So I will throw the question to you, Sethmi. How has your life been in terms of understanding and knowing, okay, this is what sexuality is. This is what embracing sexuality is. This is what, like Dr. Janaka mentioned, I have a boyfriend, I have a crush. This is what it is. But how do I prevent doing unsafe things? How do I prevent those? So how has that been for you in breaking the stigma, especially amongst your parents and getting the support from your parents as well?
Yeah. When I'm talking about my childhood, my parents were very strict. I didn't went for any hall class. I didn't went to school by bus. My parents took me to the school. I'm participating for group classes. So my parents were very strict. They are not allowing me to use a phone. They are not allowing me to watch a romantic movie. They are switching off the phone or go over there. But over time, my parents were converted to friendly relationship with me. Yes. Then my mother was like, do you have a crush? This is time to have a crush. Then I was like, I will comfortable with her. Now I'm telling that, Amma, I have a crush. Then she's asking like, is he a good person? Are you dating him? If you are going with him, you have to do like this. You have to protect on these ways. You have to control your emotions in these ways. If you are not controlling, you might be in a disaster or something. That's like that. At that time, I was like not telling anything. I was like, I have no one to tell. Inside me, what I should do. There's nothing. There is no teacher to tell. There is no guardian to tell. But in this time, I was like very free with my mother. I'm telling Amma, I have some problem with this thing. What is the love? I'm discussing with her. Then she was sharing experience, her experience with me. Yeah, I'm in young age. I have an affair. I was maintaining that affair with these those lines and these things. Then now I was okay. Okay. Amma is like that. Then I have the power to tell anything to her. Yeah. Now I am okay. Then now I am also knowing if there is problem, I can tell it to her. The largest problem was most youths are not available to tell their problems to elders. Like if I'm telling that problem to elders, they were regretting them from family. If you are doing this, you are not our kid. If you are a victim of this thing or HIV or something, you are not our kid. I'm broken up with your relationship, like that.
Yeah. Wow. Like every single thing that you uttered there right now is the reality of Sri Lanka, and that's one of the reasons I think Dr. Janaka can agree as well. We're having such a surge in youth members contracting HIV. It's very sad. But the question of using condoms, I think that is the most primary aspect of preventing HIV. Did you have the conversation with your parents, Vinod, in terms of using condoms?
Yes. One day they found a condom in my bag. Then after that, I tell all the things to them. My mama and dada tell me about the condom as well, because my dada is an army officer and mama is working in some company as a quality checker. So they teach me how to use that and why we should use that. So I think that's why I'm protected like this.
Yeah.
Because of my parents. They teach me what should I do.
Okay.
So that's yeah.
Right. That's amazing, honestly. I feel like that is a question and the connotation that has to be spoken by every parent as well. I love that you've not had that stigma amongst your parents. But do you have any friends maybe that have actually gone through the sentiment of, okay, parents are strict, they can't have the conversation of, do I use a condom? Do I use this? Have you got any friends like that? I'll ask that from Vinod.
Actually, my friends got of normally the boys discussing kind of that. So one of my friends asked from their parents. Actually, I think their parents is not friendly with him. So that's kind of situation my friend is going to like his life is gone rude with that. Yeah, I think my friends also have like my parents. I think that will be changed.
That will be changed. I love that you said that. I'll ask you that question as well on the other side, because I feel like the prevention methods can actually be quite heavy, right, doctor? Because now it's not just condoms, there are other methods that you can actually prevent it as well, like PrEP and so much more. We'll talk about it on the other side right here on Gen XYZ as we jump into a short commercial break. Welcome back to Gen XYZ right here on Other Derana 24. Well, we're in conversation with three significantly, amazingly impactful individuals. That's the only way I can put it, because we've got two youth members representing and being the voice of the youth. This is Sethmi and Vinod, along with a professional. This is Dr. Janaka. Well, thank you so much, all three of you, for actually having this conversation today with us on Gen XYZ. We're talking about a very important subject. It's to do with HIV and prevention of HIV as well. Doctor, I have to ask you, HIV has been there for a very long time in the world. We have still not found a way to cure this. I mean, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? It's also to do with the stigma of things. But are there ways of preventing HIV? Is there a way of preventing, example, like what I know from now is there's something called PrEP. Just like that, are there different ways of preventing HIV on today's context of things?
Yeah. HIV, it's a virus and there is no way of completely curing disease. If you get the disease, you can keep on taking treatment and you can have a normal life, but as long as we are on treatment, you can live 50 years, 60 years, it's okay, but we have to be on treatment daily. That is a different thing after getting the infection. But as you said, as you asked, how to prevent, there are many ways of prevention. The main thing is, the main mode of transmission is unprotected sexual contact. Then what you have to do is promote the protected sexual contact, okay? Safe sexual contact. What do you mean by safe sexual contact is that there should be if you are having a sex with a casual partner, the fluid should not be exchanged in a very simple way. You have to wear a condom. Then the fluid doesn't, your sexual secretion doesn't go one person to other person. That is the fundamental thing. We have to use a barrier method like condom. Then if you are using a condom, if it is a male to male sex or male to female sex, you are protected as long as you are wearing a condom when you are having a sex with a casual partner. That is a safe sexual contact, safe sexual activity. That means promotion of safe sex. In addition, there are some people, they don't like to use condoms for different reasons. Sometimes they are thinking about pleasure, sometimes think about other things. There are mixed condoms. For that, there is something called pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's a medicine, it's a drug. You have to, if you are having unprotected sexual contact or risky sexual behaviors continuously, you have to take it daily. As long as you are taking daily, you are protected. If you stop taking, you are not protected. That's the thing. Or sometimes it is called daily PrEP. Or there is something called event-driven, the same medicine event. For that particular event, you can use. For example, it's a planned event. We are going to have a sex tomorrow with your casual partner. Then you can take 2 tablets within 2 to 24 hours of the act, not earlier than within 24 hours. And you can have another tablet following day in 24 hours, and another tablet another 24 hours after. That means 2, 1, 1. That is event. For that particular event, you can take, and after that you can stop. Right? That is one. But thing is, it can prevent only HIV. There are many other sexual transmitted diseases like syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes, genital warts. Those diseases are not protected with pre-exposure prophylaxis. It prevents only HIV. But condom protect each and every disease, HIV and other sexual. That's the difference between things. And PrEP is a medicine we have to take under medical prescription.
Yeah. Wow. So I think there's quite a lot of ways of preventing HIV as well, contracting HIV primarily. But the thing is, if you think about it, doctor, you said there is this pill to be taken. There's also ways for us to go and get it tested. But we can't do that because of the stigma in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's all over the world, the stigma is there. In Sri Lanka, it is more.
A lot, yes.
That is because our knowledge about HIV is very poor. How does it transmit? It transmits not by, if you are in the same classroom or when you are having a meal together, if you are living in the same room or if you are using the same toilet, it doesn't transmit. To transmit it, you have to have an unprotected sexual contact with the infected person. Or sometimes, or mother to child transmission, we just forget for the time being. Or needle sharing, we just forget for the time being. Mostly, unless we are having an unprotected sexual contact, it doesn't transmit.
How long does the symptoms, there has to be some sort of symptom that will show. How long does that take for you to know that, okay, I might have HIV, I might not have HIV, I should go and get it tested? How long does that take?
Yeah, I'll tell like this. If you are having even one unprotected sexual contact in your life, there is risk of getting HIV.
Right.
At any time, you may have only once, at least only once, you have an unprotected sexual, that is risk of getting. That means you have exposed to that. It doesn't mean you have got that. You are exposed to the risk. Then you ask about symptoms. Actually, this viral disease, at the very beginning, in first 3 weeks, you might get a little bit of sore throat or just fever, flu-like symptom. It's happened every day to us. It's not a very specific symptom. It's a common symptom. We can't differentiate. And after that, you don't have anything for about 6-7 years. That's the main thing. For syphilis, gonorrhea, there are particular symptoms, ulcers, but HIV, no ulcers, no other rashes. For about 6-7 years, we don't have any symptom. We get patients, finally with symptoms, their blood counts are very low. Because then by that time we can identify this is not a recent infection, it's a very old infection. There are CD4 count, it's a type of white cell count, there's a white cell type CD4. It has gone very low. That means it's a very old infection. It takes about 7 years, 8 years sometimes, 5 to 8 years. But the thing is, the most dangerous thing, by that time, he can spread to any number of patients, any number of persons. Whoever the contact sexually, he can transmit the disease. That is the one area we have to consider about this thing, because by just looking at their face, we can't identify whether it's a HIV infected person or not. But the stigma, you asked about stigma, mainly because earlier we didn't have medicine. It says HIV marantika, I would say deadly, but it is not so. You can have a normal life, but at the very beginning, worldwide it gave a very high publicity and about talking about this disease very badly, and still it is remained in the society.
Doctor, I'm going to cut you off there a little bit because I'm going to throw the question to the youth, right?
Exactly.
Because obviously as a doctor, you would understand there should be no stigma and everything, but these two, they're not in medicine, they're in two different fields. How do you personally feel as youth members, right? What needs to change? How would you even be able to go with so much stigma in Sri Lanka, about this? How would you even go and get yourself tested? Like, what is your take on that?
Yeah. Firstly, I have to say, if you are a victim of HIV or sexual transmitted disease, in Sri Lankan culture, there is a mindset that if you are a positive one, if you are going to a hospital or any other clinic and checking it is a deadly thing. It was the mindset of Sri Lankan youths. If you are going to that clinic, you were lost. You were
with shame and all of that, yeah.
First of all, we have to change it. We have to normalize it. You are going and checking it. If you are having any doubt about it, you are going and checking. It's a normalize. It's a normal thing. We have firstly normalize that thing. If it begins with the culture in the family and with the core groups, they are discussing. If we have a friend like that, we are discussing. If there is a doubt, we are telling that you go and check. It's a little thing, no? We are maintaining that situation. It's okay.
You're in the youth active group, right? So what do you primarily do in terms of making sure that they're educated and they know it's okay? Because even though you're educated, you know how you can prevent it, and maybe you have it. How do you go and get yourself tested? Because there's so much stigma. There's only one place that you can, few places actually, that you can go and test yourself for it. The second you go for it, done. Your family gets to know, you're outside from the family. It's a whole, drama, if I put it that way. So how do you what do you guys do in terms of preventing this?
First thing, education. There is the education to prevent, and the proper education must be in the school and also as the youths. There must be proper ways to get the knowledge. Most of youths didn't like to go and ask, what is that, how to prevent, but they like to Google it and search it through websites or something. So, first thing, there must be resources to find them. I think the doctors, authorities and things are developing these kind of things. I also participated for some of these. It's a better thing. And also, I think doctor will explain it. There is a self-testing kit or something. It may be youth friendly. If you are having a doubt, you can get this privately, But there is another problem. When you are going to a pharmacy or something and ask, there may be a serious issue.
Yes. So these are the things that we need to like really break. I think the stigma is the main thing we need to break to prevent the surge of HIV. Vinod, what's your take on that? Do you think, what is actually your take on it?
Actually, I have previous experience like that things. Recently, I talked with my one of friend last Friday. So when I asked him to do a test, but he not like that because of normally people don't like to get the test because of others are knowing if he have HIV. So if it is possible, it's positive, so it's gonna mentally go down. So I think we should have to contact some doctor or counselor to get some instructions for that. So my friends, I recommend to him do by self toolkit and do it, and if it is positive, you can go and ask how to get the medicines for that. So I think my friend, as my friend said, the barrier is a society. If we can change their mind, it will be normalized. I think we can reduce the HIV and protect them.
Wow, thank you very much, the both of you. Honestly, it's been quite refreshing on Gen XYZ as well to actually have two voices of the youth, representing the youth as well, to talk on the matters that is very important right now in Sri Lanka. Thank you so much, Sethmi, and thank you so much, Vinod, as well. Thank you so much, Doctor, for actually joining us right here on Gen XYZ. We'll have a little bit more of a conversation as well, maybe on a different matter of things. But until then, this is a wrap right here on Gen XYZ. Well, we are definitely located right here at a beautiful location, by the way. Great hot chocolate, great tea, great coffee as well, which you can definitely come by and try. It's at Brew by Dilma. It's located at Flower Road. And with that, we shall be back with a different episode, bringing to you a different matter that concerns you, the youth of Sri Lanka. But don't forget, if you do miss out on an episode, we are available on youtube.com/Aberathna English. And with that, have yourselves a beautiful good night.